Hello, and welcome to Seeking Heaven, the Near Death Experience and Other Phenomena. I'm your host, Tamara Caulder Richardson, as well as an Evidential Medium and Christ and Ultra Dimensional channel, as well as a star seed. And welcome to my channel. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Tell your friends, share, like, and make comments. And also check out my new school, academyofdivinewisdom.com. And if you want a reading, southernbellemedium.com. So today's guest, we have Joan of Angels, and that is her star name, but her name is Dr. Joan Hangarter. She was a chiropractor for years. She's also a healer, and she's an angel art celestial communicator. And I'm excited to have her on today. She's going to be talking about her transmissions, how she realized her spiritual journey, how she realized that she's from the angelic realm, and she's going to show us her amazing, beautiful angel paintings and drawings. So I'm going to bring her on, and we're going to have a chat with Joan. Welcome.
I'm just so honored. When I saw your title, Seeking Heaven, I went, okay, that's my kind of person. All right. We have a lot in common because when I paint, I'm seeking heaven. When I go into that place of art, I'm asking to be shown, the invisible realms, and I'm asking for that completion. So I can close my eyes when I paint sometimes, which is astounding. And sometimes I'll just lay there in bed and all these faces will go in front of me. I particularly like when I'm doing art for people, when I tune into their frequency and I get messages about them. So I have found that it is a communication tool for me. Like, for instance, I went up with a group I'm here in Mount Shasta, and I went up to a group with a group to Ascension Rock in St. Germain's place, whatever it is on Mount Shasta.
It's a positive portal, correct? And Mount Shasta. You're there now. Everybody watching.
Yes.
Okay. And so this was recent?
Yes, this was a week ago.
Okay. And it's a positive portal.
Oh, yes, an amazing portal. And and I'm with other channels and spiritual teachers. And so we all go around and it's like, what did you see? What did you see? What did you see? And people saw Jesus, they saw the Buddha, they saw the ascended master. I mean, the only thing I really saw was this little tree I'm going to show you on this painting, when we get to the art.
Okay.
Because what I realized, so I see this tree and yes, I did a little channel for everyone, but it really wasn't as impressive to me as what everyone else was seeing, right? And I go home, and that's when I do my best work. I start meditating and I start playing with that tree. And before you know it, that tree and the rocks that were around us that I had photographed, I start playing with it and I start doing digital art with it. And before you know it, the beings that were there emerge through my art. So it's a nonverbal communication for me, because I didn't know at that moment when I was sitting there what I'm actually feeling. But as I dive in, I could never recreate whatever I'm going to show you, by the way. It's one of a kind, because it was those guides or those beings coming through me at that particular time to be shown. So I was then able to then understand what I had just experienced on the mountain.
That's beautiful. Well, we can go ahead and move into your artwork if you want to show that. I mean, I'm excited to see.
I'd love to show a few pieces. I had to take it down years ago because I'd hacked, and now I'm really finding I want to share it with everyone again. So I'm excited.
Yes.
Channeled art and oracle art means that, number one, the art chooses you. The beings in the art go, oh my God, there's our human. And then they will grab you. So people used to sleep in my sanctuary and they'd come out and go, oh my God, she spoke to me all night and she has to go home with me. So this kind of art will channel for you. It will raise your frequency. It will heal your body. It will act as an adaptogen. If you know what an adaptogen is, it's an herbal herb that balances and regulates your body. It doesn't treat symptoms. It treats your whole energetic field.
There's one that you have that it looks like, I haven't seen it yet, but they're telling me right now that there's one that's roots, and I don't know what it is, but it's got roots in it. They're saying that will even help regulate people's blood flow. and their heart, and they regulate their heart. I don't know which one they're talking about. Do you have something with roots?
I have, so since I've been in Mount Shasta, things are changing for me. I've started doing a lot of, so the rocks and the mountains are waking up. The stone people, the giants are waking up here.
Yeah.
And every rock that I take a picture of, there's energy within it. And so some of the new art has that energy also, but the trees are really waking up or waking me up as well. And so my art is actually changing, and I'm doing a lot more digital art. First, it's faster and easier, but it just is direct. But the messages are very, very strong and powerful. It may not have been done, or it could be part of the new series. Like the other day I was walking and I did a little video that I put on my YouTube channel about the trees, because you could see the trees looking at you. If you have the eyes to see, you'll see hundreds of eyes staring into you as well. And it's quite powerful. So I'm in a transformation myself, bringing in these newer energies.
Okay, well, you're going to have more of that. They're going to do something, because I think that, remember earlier in the first interview, you talked about the chiropractic and grounding and aligning people, but you're doing that, but at a higher vibration. And so this new art, it's not just art, of course, it's a transmission, that it's going to do something to regulate people on a level of their, not just DNA, but they're talking about the blood. Okay, I will leave it as such. But it has to do
Okay.
a deeper cleansing and grounding. I'm going to leave it right there.
Leave it right there, because I'm hearing what you're saying.
Okay, got it. Okay, I don't need to fill in the gaps. You can extrapolate from there, and so that's what's going on. So it hasn't happened yet, but the ones that you've done, I mean, I'm like, I can completely tell that they're channeled. So whenever you're ready, I'm
Okay.
excited.
And it is happening. It is very, very interesting. I paint, I do work with people individually. I do channeled art and readings for people as well. And I ought to tell you that I have 100. If I was to show you all my art, it's about 1,000 pieces.
Let me
For
get you
the
here.
first 3 years, I did not leave my house, guys. All I did was paint. So this morning, I don't know, I was told to grab a few pieces, literally grab them. And these are different energies. The one on the right, Archangel Gabriel. When I first started painting, they told me 33 angels in 30 days. And then after that, I said, well, what am I going to do with this art? And the next bit of instruction was paint us and we will come. And they instructed me to get these huge canvases and start painting. So Archangel Gabriel was like the second one of that series that came through. And he's the one who told me it was time to come to the desert, but also to see how colorful they are. And a lot of the art has the crown. If you see it on his crown up here, their crown chakra, the energy that's coming through.
Yes.
And that is, to me, that connecting to the heavens. You can see his third eye heart and all the energy, like hearing and increasing your energy. So that was one of the very first ones. Now, the other one, she told me she was the angel of peace and harmony.
Now, which one is this? This is the brunette or the redhead?
The brunette.
The brunette is peace and harmony. Okay.
Yes. And actually healing and restoration.
Okay.
And she brings in that energy. She's a little bit brighter in person, but when you tune into her, and the people who have her in the house report that she brings a level of calmness and a level of like having 25 candles lit 24/7. There's a peace and soul restoration. So these two really kind of are very energetic. So then the redhead is Gabriel. Yes.
Okay. The angel of peace, I feel like that there is a feminine nurturing thing going on. Like you feel like you're being hugged and it's just calm, like all is well kind of thing. And then the other one with Gabriel, there's a lot of energy, which when you think about communication, being the messenger, there would be a lot of activity. So you're seeing that the alignment all the way up to the throat chakra, third eye, crown, the ears, everything is like pulsating and vibrating, and to almost a divine godly musical tune, and it's attuned to receive messages. This looks like to look at it, I'm like, you're getting tuned up to get some messages.
That's right. And he's also saying, sing your song. Sing your
Beautiful.
song, be you authentically. It's interesting that the two I put together both have closed eyes, which is really to go within and hear that voice within. They both have, and look, they both have things on
Beautiful.
their third eye resonating as well. So that was the first, this is kind of the first deep dive, but the angelic realms really do come, they just have a lot of messages for us in terms of calming us and soothing our soul.
Absolutely.
All right, so what we're seeing on the screen here is two paintings that were in one. I painted the one on the left, and it looks kind of more feminine, if you can see her over there, with the saucer head here.
Mm-hmm.
And her crown chakra again open. She came through first. And this is when I first started painting. And this friend of mine came over and she said, "Oh, who is that?" And those were the days where people's opinions mattered a lot. And I went, "Oh, okay. Terrible painting." Because remember, I was kind of new at painting.
Okay.
Terrible painting. And I painted her over with the being on the right, okay, who told me that he was Archangel Michael. And in a sense, so one day I was in Tucson and I saw them both in the sky and I put them together like this. But basically, the painting I have of Archangel Michael at home or in storage right now was above the one on the left, who merged with him. Does that make sense?
Yes, I could see
Okay.
that. They look
Because
similar.
yes. And so, because someone said to me, Joan, because I had people, I felt very shy about my art, Tamara. So I hid my art for quite a long time. So when someone came in and didn't like what I was doing and made me feel like it was primitive, all right, because they were experienced and I was a naive painter, I kind of flipped out. So in the beginning, I hid almost all my art because I didn't know what to do with it, if that makes sense. But
Right.
Archangel Michael actually is, I'm very, very close with him. And he's, and so this is, I just wanted you to see this. Actually,
Beautiful. I
this is
think
how
it's
I saw
beautiful.
them over Tucson.
Beautiful.
So we have here, she is another one of the series of healing angels, angels of peace, restoration, healing, and compassion. A lot of self-compassion came for this one. And she does say, "Oh, Tamara's going to have things to say about me."
She is. She's from Syria.
Of course.
To me, this feels like prodigy. I want to say daughter. I want to say serenity
Yes.
and support.
And she emulates that. So in your home, when you have the candles lit and you have her in a sanctuary, she just brings that feeling of being at peace
Yes,
and being at one with the universe. So
absolutely.
she is
Beautiful.
another one. But then I started moving into portals. So remember, I didn't leave the house for basically 3 years. I would say I've done about 800 kinds of canvases altogether in all of what I've done, not just in art, but digitally also. So
Yes.
what began to come through now was portals, how to
Mhm.
see differently. And this is actually one of my favorite paintings. You can obviously see the Egyptian influence, the eye,
Mhm.
but the portals began the ways that you can see. So, and also the sacred language that's really in the bottom of this painting.
Really? Okay. So I want to dive into this a little bit. So it looks like one at the side I'm looking at, the right side. I guess everybody would be the left. I don't know, but the right looks like a pyramid there, and then you've got it looks like the ocean and water running into that, which to me looks heavily Atlantis because a lot of Atlanteans went to Egypt afterwards, and then the eyelashes look like the road, which is part of the whole lot of ocean around Atlantis. So I'm looking at the rowing, which also has a little Viking influence there, and it looks like this is just my interpretation, not saying it's it. And then you've got nobility. There's a nobility, but there's also this ormus gold, this gold. There is spiritual. I've been told before, like when I do stage work, and I'll be in front of hundreds or sometimes thousands of people, and I'll stand there. It drives my husband crazy. He's like, "How can you just stand there and not?" I just wait for information. And I said, I asked my guide, should I wear silver? Should I wear costume jewelry? They said, we appreciate the spiritual costume jewelry, and the silver is neutral, but the gold is enhancing to your energetic field.
Right.
So the fact that you did gold, there is a spiritual property behind that.
Yes, and the colors all mean something, and they bring in those kinds of frequencies. But
Beautiful.
there's more. I guess I'm hearing there's more to everything than meets the eye.
Oh, and it looks like there's like almost like a tsunami of a wave underneath the eye, like bam, like an awakening underneath that eye. But there's a grace to it too, but it's very powerful.
And the eye is a transportation device. It takes you into the inner realms as well.
Yes, that's
And
beautiful.
it's also the all-seeing. And it's funny, I had forgotten about the pyramid. But so we started to do traveling, and this is one of my favoriteest paintings. Wow. I don't even know how this one came through. It's a digitized, it's a digital art piece from an actual painting that I did. And I began to feel like we were in a cosmic battleground. And I called it victory, because it felt like it was an ascension process, all of those angels traveling up. And you see the Pegasus horse in the corner of that as well. And I was like, wow, how did you? I don't even know how that got in there. So,
yes, that's my logo, as a Pegasus. I'm obsessed with Pegasus.
Oh, well, then you'd be obsessed with this painting.
I am. I love it. And it looks like divine intervention. The celestials are helping us from maybe the more aggressive but few energetic beings, ET beings, whatever, even Earth ones. And they are assisting us, especially when we ask. It really helps.
That's right. Your call for, they say that that if you need angelic assistance, ask.
You got to ask. Absolutely. That's powerful. This is powerful. Yeah, it looks like
very powerful.
Looks like Team God is really kicking butt on this one. I like it.
Right? Right. Well, then I became obsessed. That's why I wanted to be on your show, Seeking Heaven. I said, oh my God, how do I get to heaven? And I started a series of paintings on how do I get to heaven. And so I call this the pathway to heaven. And you can just sort of see that they're transitioning, from different layers and realms, and they're going always through that light into the heavenly realm. So that's how I was shown it. And it was sort of like the key to heaven. And you can even see she's got this long trailing goddess angel wear back there. And everyone's sort of watching this ascension part of it.
Well, when you're looking at it, it almost looks like a bridal gown.
Right. Yes. And as I started painting some of these inner realms and temples, I would have many meditations and many examples, and they would bring me into these temples in my visions after I had painted them, which I found quite fascinating. I'd have to paint them first, and then I would awaken in them. So, okay. So then I want to bring you to the newest kinds of series. We're going to so this one came through about 4 months ago. It was more like the creation of the earth. It was when I was asking more for the creation of other realms that this one came through. And you can see that energy, right? Okay, so now I'm on. This is my trip last week to Mount Shasta.
Okay.
So here I am, and all these people are having these great experiences. Jesus walked in, Mary walked in, the guides walked in, everyone was sitting there with them. And I'm going, all I could see is this tree in front of me. Now, to be honest, well, actually, it looked just like this. All right. It was a tree. It looked like a being on top. It wasn't pink. When I started to work with it, it first became pink. All right. But as I'm looking at it and I'm feeling, oh my God, that tree is not a tree. It was a divine being. And I started to play with what I was seeing. This all happened within 24 hours now. So now I'm at home meditating, and the being in that tree, you can see that that's that same tree, but it started to evolve into a higher evolution. You can see someone sort of more of a Christ consciousness, a
Yeah, they're
higher.
doing like this. They're holding their hands up, like, right? Yes. Almost like in gratitude and praise.
And you can also start to see more energies around this being. Like
Mm-hmm.
the trees are coming to life. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's when we shift our eyes and we don't look directly. I've been nearsighted my whole life, meaning I've always if I wanted to see clearly, I should wear glasses, but I don't, because I don't actually want to see clearly, because it's in the shadows that I see everything.
Right.
That's very
Yeah.
profound, isn't it? Okay.
No,
So
no, that
then
makes sense.
now look what happened. Now the being is becoming even more. There's a feminine energy. The
Yes.
fairies are starting to come out all around in this mountain. And if you step back, and here we're looking at it like close up, but if you kind of had it on the wall and you step back, you could see the feminine divine goddesses
I
now
do.
coming.
I mean, you can see the rounded hips, you can see the breast at the top, the face turn at an angle. It almost looks like a, you know, what would you call it? Like a Renoir, where it's like a shapely type woman. And then you've got the little fairy heads around supporting this. So it's, I mean, it's really, we talk about Mother Gaia, but this is like Mother Goddess Gaia.
Right. And these were all the invisible realms that I was feeling. And yet I didn't have words for it when they're saying, well, what did you experience, Joan? It was almost like I had to go home and then send them a video with all the artwork. Well, this was my experience. Now, this is a slightly different experience that I want to share with you.
Yes.
I have had contact with extraterrestrials my entire life. And a few months ago, I was asked to call in aliens, which I didn't like that word, but I called in the ships. And then again, it was like, well, who did I see? And that being on the left, the bluish one, not the one on the right, just looking straight out on your left here, she came through, and I was told that it was an Andromedan. I wasn't actually sure of Andromedan or Arcturian, but she was actually on the ship. The being in the center also came through as also an extraterrestrial. And the beings on the right came through a few years ago, but they seem to be very important in this series here as well. Does that make
So,
sense?
yeah. So the thing is, it does look like it could be Andromedan or it could be Arcturian, but either way, is definitely a feminine type energy. And it almost looks like you asked for a representative, like an orator from their culture. It looks like it could be Andromedan, but it could be a mixture of Arcturian and Syrian in there too. And Syrian, that's a huge solar system. Each one is huge solar systems, but it looks like a representative. What is the middle one now? I'm trying to understand that.
The middle one is a combination of a gray, but also more of a high. I'm not even sure. Okay. I'm not even sure how to interpret him in a sense, but I feel like it's more of a male energy. You could actually see within. And part of it was I had a big worry of connecting with the ETs at this time. Okay. For
Okay.
a while, I would open my eyes and I'd see this scary extraterrestrial. And when this one over on the left here came to me, at first I thought it was going to be the one that was scary. And then I looked and I realized it wasn't scary now that it was presented to me in a different way.
Mhm.
So I actually think that I was being given screen memories of a way of the extraterrestrial beings that I've been companions with, in a way that I could then connect to them
Interpret without
and
being
love
upset.
them and not be
Mhm.
scared of them. Because actually the one on the left, when I first saw it, I thought, oh my God, that's come back to scare me. And then it became a really loving being. And even the one in the middle, not all of the ETs, there's very many different kinds. They relate to us, even the grays, there's different levels of grays.
Sure.
And I have at home, well, at my old home, a tall white extraterrestrial that used to go with me everywhere, a statue. And people used to report that Joan, do you know you have a tall white with you going everywhere? and he was an extraterrestrial galactic ambassador. Now,
Yes.
and so, and we all have different, we're all accompanied based on what our own mission is and our belief system and our ability to see them. I did have a tall white come and visit me in my backyard one day.
So did you see the tall white with your spirit eyes, or was it a 3D thing?
Actually, so it was, my eyes were open.
Got it.
And I looked, and he was in the corner of my backyard, and he was like glowing white, a real tall white. And then I couldn't tell what the one next to him, he was with another being, and that was in shadow. I couldn't see, but I asked, how did you get here? And there was the funniest thing. They came from up in Joshua Tree, which was right over the mountain.
Yeah.
And they said, we came in a little saucer type taxi. It was a saucer ship taxi. So it was a small saucer that they must have grabbed from the base up there. And because they could tell my vibrational frequency, I was in plant medicine journey. They came to check out that frequency because they could tell that I was in that other energy. But the funny part was they said it was like a taxi, a saucer taxi.
Okay. Can I make a comment right here? Because you don't know this. We're going to have a laugh because we've been, okay, it's time to laugh. Last night before I went to sleep, I was telling my husband, I was like, I really am not into the technology of the whole light beam go up like an elevator. I said, come on, can't they just jump gate me? Because I really don't like heights. It could make me nauseous. And I said, but the jump gate, don't know if I'd have an effect with that. Just boom, boom, be there. And he said, the best way is just to get a little shuttle, come down, get. I said, yeah, they got shuttles. Why can't they just get me in a shuttle? And so I'm saying this technology, because they can do that too. And I'm like, because, I don't want the whole, like a cow. I said, because this is going to make me nauseous. And so you just answered it. You just answered my question. And they knew that. They have a sense of humor over there. Our ultra dimensionals, our, friends and family and guides, but that you actually answered it, which is a strange question to answer, the little taxi. So that they answered to me.
Yes.
How they're going to come visit me with a little taxi. So thanks for answering that. This is interesting. So do you see him get out, or you just see him walking around inquiring about your plant medicine?
They were just there to let me know they were there, that they were letting me know that they saw my signature. I had a different signature, and they actually came to investigate what that was.
I had a guest on, Preston Denton, and he's written.
Oh, I know who he is.
He's a trip. He's very knowledgeable about, UFOs, ETs, being visited, abductees, all of that. He said they know us by our energy frequency. And he said they don't need to tag anyone. He said they know us by energy. I said, well, how energy? He said, well, they look for certain things. I said, okay, like what? He said they look for people that are intuitive, people that are free thinkers, and they look for people that could be think differently. He said that usually they're intuitive in some way, or it could be a healer, but usually intuitive. But they are that. But he said they have actually tabs on everybody, because those in particular are the ones that are part of this cosmic revolution, this great convergence, they tell me, that we're coming together for the first time. You see light workers very happily and eagerly, with no self whatever, just coming together because they know, wow, this is bigger than me. And they got tabs on all of us, and they're actually helping those that are actively, like yourself, working very hard through this to help yourself and help this world. So I just want to say that for people watching, like signature, yeah, they can tell frequency. They know vibrationally who people are that they can communicate with.
That's right. And it's interesting, people who've had connection with extraterrestrials or claim they see UFOs or contactees actually have greater intuitive gifts. They can become more telepathic, more clairvoyant, clairsentient. And I know that's what happened to me. When I look back on my evolution, I would say I wasn't born like this. Over the years, I became and stepped into and remembered. Yes. And I'm convinced that it is the contact I've had. The more I've said yes, and this is something to know. The more you say yes, guys, the more information they'll give you. And the more downloads you'll start to, and the more confirmations you'll start to get.
Right.
If you're not paying attention, you're too busy, they just go to the next people. They know where, but they do check. Remember I said a while ago, you sit up here, we look down at the earth, we can see what's going on. And people they are awakening, and our guides, they can see it. And that's the exciting part. We are awakening. And that's why we're on StreamYard today. We're on the internet talking about it. We couldn't have done this 10 years ago.
No.
We weren't that connected.
The time is now. People all over the world. I mean, I know with my channel, I'm in 62 countries. I translate it in 33 languages. So who knows? It's, someone from, who knows, any place around the world could be watching this. And by you working on yourself, the most loving thing you can do is invest in your own spiritual journey, not necessarily with money. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. That's a flow. Maybe it's reading books. Maybe it's just being attuned or being meditatively aware. But when you do it, that frequency, when yours goes bam, it actually ripples like the ocean waves out to other people, and it changes them, and now they're able to step into their power more. So there's something energetic going on here that's why I say you can never go wrong if you invest in your own spiritual journey, because you're helping everybody else.
So just so you know, you're saying the exact same thing that I've always said. I wrote a book years ago called The Miracle Makers Club. And it's like when you step into your ability to manifest miracles and synchronicities in your life, and you step into that power and radiant that way, you will be attracting to you those people who've been waiting for you to wake up. Yeah. And then they will be awoken.
It's beautiful.
And begin to magnetize, and the people behind them will be woken up. And that's how we really shift the planet on this energy.
It's an energetic, it's a decision, because free will. And then it's you got to do some work, but it's an energetic process. It's a decision primarily. And then the energy starts shifting. And so the energy starts shifting with what? With the masses? No, within each of us. So anyway, one last thing on that picture beforehand, and I'm digging our conversation. What is the last one that I'm looking at? Tell me, that looks like some interdimensional.
Those are interdimensional beings that came through there. I call them power beings, because if you were to see this one, like if I was to blow this one up for you. So like that. Okay, so you can really just sort of see it more powerfully. You can see the wings. You can see the interdimensional aspects. You literally could see people back in here. So I don't see the other side. Like, I don't ordinarily see a lot of departed loved ones. However, I've done several readings where suddenly I would see, like, I would be on the other side, and I'd see their ancestors having a party and celebrating the person I was reading for. Like, one was a Korean. It was like, oh, number one son, he understood, he's following protocol. And the other one's going, well, we wanted him to do this, the art part. And the other number one son became an accountant. Yes. And so in a sense, this is what I was seeing on the other side, like just these in-depth energetics of essences.
And it looks, and what's interesting, it looks like it's layered, like there's different. See, we're used to things in our mind being, and on planet Earth being linear,
and it's not, right?
And we're walking on gravity, but actually in the etheric world, you can go different levels of stuff. You don't have to have the typical, I walk outside the door and I'm on this, it's more of an adventure. So this looks, what you're doing is a gift, because you're showing things that look like my astral travels.
Yes. And the new series of art that I have, that again, I haven't shown it really yet, thinking about how to do that, is astral travels. It's all about what happens in our visions, and it has nothing to do with the earth plane in a lot of ways. Like, so I want to show you this one.
Yes.
Remember, I took you back. I said, okay, I was in the Ascended Master portal in on Mount Shasta. And towards the end of my diving in with all the art, I said, well, what did I see ultimately? And then I just saw this gathering of high beings in grace. So that was like one of the last ones I saw of the energy from Saint Germain's portal.
That's beautiful. You know what? It looks like that they come together. They do that like with me in readings, and depending if the person's open, it will be more than family. But it's not going to go past their comfort level. But this looks like they've come together, and it almost looks like I feel like there's a Mother Mary behind there. I'm feeling like there's some ancient other time periods behind there, other civilizations, early Earth. And then I'm looking at, there even looks like some animals in there. And
There's
there,
everything.
yeah, and it's like animal spirits, and there's quite a few in there, but it looks to me, it almost, it doesn't look 2D. It looks very dimensional, and at the same time, it feels very like Thanksgiving. When you're around a bunch of people, let's say, that you enjoy, and you're enjoying a harvest and over food, and everyone is happy and they're eating well and they're sharing their love through the food, and it just has this warm, grateful feeling. That's how this piece of art appeals to me that way.
It felt to me like there's something I had seen years ago in a deck of cards. It may have been a Doreen Virtue deck. I don't know. But there was a planet Earth round and all of these divine beings in spirit, the spirit guides just encircling the Earth. And that's kind of how I felt that this was a coming together of many of the divine beings who actually were here at Mount Shasta when I'm there as well. So this is another kind of essence painting that came through from
Beautiful.
there. And then there's this one. So remember, this is the same day, the same pieces that I kept going deeper and deeper and deeper with. And if we were standing there, this was actually, you could walk into the portal and feel that all these beings were actually in that space.
You know what I feel like when I'm looking at it? I'm sorry, I'm like a little kid with Tourette's. um, I feel like it's you in the middle. This beautiful white angel is you in the middle, and then I'm looking below, and I'm looking like there's it. I mean, this is what it looks like. It looks like the whole like Trinity, Holy Trinity, and then I'm looking below. It looks like a place of like, it looks like a part of slice of what we want to call heaven, or these higher realms. And below it looks like you have a little art studio, and you have your canvas, and that's your little art studio, and that they are inspiring you. You're working directly with top brass,
Interesting.
and it's this different dimension. It's almost like the pixels around it, like it's such a high frequency that it's hard to come in, because it's at such a high frequency. And I almost want to just see a waterfall behind that. And it is you, your higher state. It is divine and beautiful.
So when you said that was me in the center, it had never dawned on me. But in a way, that could be me holding court and teaching. Those beings in
I
the
like
little
that.
corner, yeah, it's me holding court and
Court. Yeah. That's how I saw it. I was like, that's you doing your thing in another
okay.
dimension. It's awesome.
I love that. I'm gonna embrace that. Now, the beings in the lower right corner, I have to tell you something.
Mhm.
Charlie, who channels the Ascended Masters, told us a story about having been at that area the day before. And he said, Joan, there was no one here. And then I looked up and there were four women. They were physically four women that suddenly appeared, and then they
Mhm.
disappeared. And I'm
You're
sure that
busy.
they were, what did he use a word for them? Four women who just magically appear and then disappear, goddesses of some kind, energies. And I felt like when I did this, that these were the beings that were there, invisible, that had shown up for Charlie. They were showing up for me.
I think that your higher self was one of them. You can do that. We can be in multiple places. So But that's up to you. But that's I feel strongly that it's you're busy, Joan. You're
I am
busy,
busy.
okay? I mean, you don't even you're like me, you don't sleep. You're like healing the world. You wake up exhausted, I bet. Yeah, I know. I get it. I love it. It's beautiful. To me, it's incredibly soulful and I just want to go there. It's
Right.
just beautiful.
So you're in my consciousness. When I show you the art, and this is what's come through, I could never repeat this. I don't know what I did because I'm in an altered reality
Sure.
zone when the art comes through. Now, this is the last of what I want to show you. I don't know who these beings are in a sense. They did come through as very, very powerfully strong energies. Again, they're part of that Mount Shasta, Mount Shastina, the Mistress Shastina, all of those energies that came through on the mountain that day.
I mean, they definitely look like spiritual warriors, and
Yes,
it's I mean, why wouldn't they be? I mean, we understand. I mean, yeah, certain places it's nothing but a love energy, but there's certain places not so much, not just Earth, but different dimensions. So we have overseers and protectors, and that's what
they're
this looks
guardians.
like. And they're very powerful. They're very powerful guardians. So is
Yeah.
this one of them, Michael?
Which one do you think might be
Or
Michael?
Metatron? It looks like I don't know if
Metatron, I get. Yes. So the bigger one
Metatron.
is Metatron. And I have seen Metatron personally, um, and encountered him. And I didn't think about it, but I think the one with blue is
Yeah.
Metatron.
Yeah, because he's bigger than Michael. No,
Extremely bigger than life.
yeah, and not anything against Michael because obviously most spiritual workers work with Michael, especially when he does any angel work. I mean, you work with Michael, but Metatron's comes to is bigger, much bigger and wider. And this looks like yeah, like St. Michael times two. The other one, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the Celestial Hercules.
Oh, isn't that cute? The celestial Hercules.
Mhm.
They're definitely celestial, angelic, feminine. There is a feminine here, but there's also the warrior. I can
Well,
almost see her on a horse too.
but aren't angels both? You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Mhm,
right? You can be
mhm, mhm.
perceived as as both. So they're very powerful. I mean, I am blown away. As I said, to reiterate, I went to a 4-year art school. That doesn't make me an expert, but I've seen a lot of things. And also working and training as an evidential medium, working with people, 600 mediums all over the world, and very few are channelers or get, and especially evidential. I love that. I personally like that. This is outstanding spirit art. It's channeled. It's ultra-dimensional communications is what it is.
I love this. I haven't shown it in a long time, so having your eye on it, Tamara, is actually very, very exciting. It is multidimensional
Mhm.
communication, and it's nonverbal.
Yeah,
And
I
I
don't
had
need
to
it.
come to terms with the fact that a lot of my communication is nonverbal. I can't always put into words, but I can put it into this. So you
Well,
can.
you don't need it. Look at it. I mean, it communicated to me. I mean, the feedback that I gave you didn't really ask for it. Sorry, but we got excited. Again, I'm like a little kid, but hopefully that was they were positive.
Oh,
Things
absolutely.
that-
Holy moly. I want to show you. Okay. I have about 1,000 images on my computer. It would take us
no way.
forever.
We're gonna
I
do
have
this
so much art,
again.
Tamara, not just the physical, but some of the new digital that I'm just asking my guides now to show me the ones that need to be shown.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to do more of this. We're going to get you out there more. And I know that you also offer uh, personal, customized, channeled art. And a
Mm-hmm.
person also gets the messages with that, whatever that will be, who knows? Just like with anyone that does a spiritual session, usually the practitioner does not know beforehand what's going to happen. They prepare and they're at a state of serenity to start, but you have no idea, which makes it really beautiful. So I know you do offer that, but it's part of these things that I find that is that you showed it feels some of this for everybody, and I think it also helps show people what it's like in other worlds, because some of that reminds me of my astral travels, and it's very hard to explain because I see a lot of pink skies a lot, and oceans or golden things. They don't look like here, and it's very hard to. I haven't related a lot of these things because it sounds like craziness, um, um, and so but I know their places, okay, and so you're showing some of this, which is raising people's consciousness that there are other places in different solar systems that do exist, that maybe they don't have, maybe they do, maybe they don't have oxygen, but it's a little bit different, not only in the colors but the vibration and all of it and the dimension. And so you're showing that, and then some of it felt personal to you. It felt like your ascension and your higher self, like the one that I mentioned earlier about, I see you as wrapped up in this beautiful, like a goddess, like a priestess, angelic quality with the white. And there, I'm going, that's you. And yes, you were holding court. And so the fact that you are owning who you are, bravo, because we all need to do that. And I get it's like layers of an onion. You know, you can only know what you know right now, and then tomorrow, you know what tomorrow is, and you know that. But
Mhm.
being able to embrace the spiritual journey, you had mentioned about saying yes,
Oh, yeah.
and I think that so many people are held back by a fear that does not exist. Doesn't. I mean, if you're working with God energy, you got nothing to worry about. It's all good. You know, there's grounding and so whatever technique, but you know, if you're doing weird stuff, you know, you're going to find that. But if you're working with the divine, beautiful light, a, it's just going to be a great adventure.
I agree. I agree. And your heart knows, if it feels like, I always say that for me, if my heart sings, if I can hear the angels singing or my heart singing, I know I'm in the right place.
Well,
And
you
I
make
know that
my
it's right.
heart sing. You do, and I have heard the angel choir before. It's tickled me. I've heard it in my right ear, and it's like whoa, but it's like a bunch of layers of that. And I'm like, and it's when I was talking to them, I needed encouragement, and I've heard it different. That this one time I'm thinking of in particular, it was to say thank you. It was just to show love and support. And I've heard that before, but again, I think everybody can experience very similar things to the way we have and others have, but you got to be open to it. That's all. Right?
Say yes.
So,
You're
yes.
one of the chosen ones. You
I,
know, they,
yeah.
they, they call us all. And if you hear it and you say yes, it'll alter your life in the most blissful of ways. You'll work harder than ever, but you'll feel more on purpose and you'll hear your heart singing more often. And I
Amen.
think, and I think that's what calls me. I just, every day I wake up, leap out of bed. How can I, do more of what I'm doing and serve in these
Oh,
ways?
it,
So,
it shows. It definitely shows. And it's not work when you love this. I would look back when I used to do more traditional stuff, money, like owning my ad agency. And I like the creative art side, but honestly, I didn't get to do a lot of that. It was more management. It turned into all that. And I look at what I do now, I'm like, okay, now I get to talk about angels, Pegasus, fairies,
right,
galaxies,
right,
timelines, changing timelines, time travel. I'm like, I mean, did I score or what? I mean, yeah, am I making a lot? Well,
right.
yeah, but it doesn't matter. My needs are taken care of. I feel like I hit the jackpot. This feels so authentic to me, to be able to live what my inner truth is. And when people say, well, what's my passion? What's my purpose? If you just go back to that little kid that you were, that used to dream and dream big, and maybe it was having a florist shop, and that you would bless the flowers and then talk to the flowers and then give it to the people to bless them. It doesn't matter what it was. That's where it is that little kid excitement thing. And it's important to have that, because we're not here that long as a physical body.
Right. It's
So we
shocking.
It's really quick. It just goes by so quick. And yeah, life goes on, but while we're here, we want to really drink it up and absorb it. Thank you for sharing a part of who you are and your beautiful art. And you're a walking art. I see the beauty in you. So thank you, Joan, my angel sister. You are amazing. I cannot wait to see all the things that you're going to do. Everybody check out her YouTube channel and her website. Consider, getting a transmissions, a session, as well as maybe some artwork with Joan. I'm sure it will be a delight. And thanks for watching. And thank you for being here, Joan. You're wonderful. Thank you.
I just loved being here with you. And I want to just tell everyone, you can reach out to me by email and say, Joan, I'd really love for you to channel and create an art piece for me that expresses it. You won't see it on the website, but you can email me. Because remember, I took all the art down and now it's coming back up. So if you feel called, just reach out. I think I just love supporting people and being the best that you can be.
Absolutely. And those people will come to you that need to. So no, that's available. That's a special little thing. You can still go on the site, but you can reach out through email to Joan. So thank you today so much, Joan. And I want to have you back because we didn't even cover half of what we wanted to. But I'm so glad that my viewers got to meet you. And I'm glad that I know you now. So thank you and much love.
It's been delicious.
Yes. Please subscribe, like, and make comments, and support this channel by becoming a member. Thank you for your continued support.